kill the little sister. Oh, this episode, Akame got killed. To finally see the hardened, very quiet, basically almost emotionally dead for the most part, Akame break down like that. Oh, the feels in this episode. Like, yeah, this might be spoiling the manga or some shit. I'm sure if it is, the manga will probably do it better. But as of what it stands, it was just like, I felt it for Akame so bad. I kind of got choked up as well. It's like, yeah, you're killing characters a lot, but the difference is, it wasn't that I was sad for Kurome's death. I was just kind of like, damn, that's fucked up. I was sad for Akame's reaction and her finally letting it all go. Let's talk about this bad boy. So majority of this fight was Akame versus Kurome, setting things up and them actually going into the swing of things. We had a couple extra things going around it, but for the most part, that's mainly what this episode was about. I mean, the title speaks for itself. Kill the sister, or kill the little sister, something like that. So, you know, the title spoke for itself, and it was rightfully so, because that was majority of this episode. You got a little bit in the beginning of Esdeath fucking cutting dudes in half. I was like, this girl was so brutal, and I love that Akame got killed. Don't try to censor shit. Like, dude got cut in half, and literally half his body just slides off of the fucking ice. Is like, oh, she's so fucking sick. I love me some Esdeath. I don't give a fuck. I love me some Esdeath. And some of the side things going on as well, as you got a little bit of Wave and Ran talking. And to be honest with you, at this particular point, it feels as though Ran's character, you know, one of the Jaegers, the guy with the blonde hair, he's pretty much pointless at this point. Like, in all honesty, unless they do something major with him, as of right now, from what I know of his character from the manga, he is just there to be there. Like, there's no reason for him at this point to be in this anime because, yeah, his purpose is kind of out the window right now with them basically one-shotting some of the people that was supposed to be a big impact to him earlier on, and also with Kurome gone, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with him, but I'm kind of disappointed in that aspect, just because it's like, he's lingering around for nothing, because from what we know, yeah. But then getting that Akame versus Kurome, first of all, them meeting up in the church, I was about to say, wait, is Kire Kotomine supposed to be there? But when they were meeting up there and everything, and just kind of getting little foreshadowings, it definitely made me, first of all, want to check out Akame got Kill Zero, because we find out a little bit more about their backstory, of how they were separated, and they met back in this church or whatever, and they ultimately were like buddy-buddy, and it was giving us more insight into their character. I think this episode set it up very well, where it was going more into this personal relationship and this personal battle that they've had all along, because everything about this fight was personal. This wasn't for the army, this wasn't for everything. It was, my sister abandoned me. And I think it was interesting to see Kurome's character. It wasn't that she regretted, oh man, I think maybe partially in there as well, she regretted, like she wished she could have been with her sister and gone with her, but ultimately it seemed as though her biggest regret was, I couldn't stop my sister. I really wish I could have stopped her, or known what she was about to do and stop her. So I think seeing one of her regrets there, but it's just overall you see a big portion of this battle, I feel as though it was motivated by regret and anger, and like, you betrayed me, you left me alone for all these years, fuck you. So with a mentally unstable person like Kurome, it was only natural. You left me behind, I'm going to kill you and make sure that you never leave me behind again, because I'm going to turn you into a puppet. Because you got to look into Kurome's mind state, and definitely the manga does it better. You get to see more of a demonstration, but she is fucked up. That is what, in her mind, she thinks, they'll never leave me again as long as I make them my puppet, right? So that was her, in her mind, basically making a logical way of like, okay, it won't be breaking the law because she'll be dead at that point, and I'll still be able to be with my sister forever and ever. Although this episode kind of made me wonder, if it wasn't for Chelsea, would Kurome still have gone down that easily? Because, you know, Chelsea's impact, while, yeah, she kind of got fucked over and I felt bad, you know, ultimately what happened to her, ultimately, she didn't die in vain. What she did actually carried some weight over constantly. Everything that Kurome's been in since has been affected by what Chelsea did. So ultimately, Chelsea did have some impact on what happened with Kurome. And I think it was perfect timing for Wave and Tatsumi to show up, because had they not shown up there, it would have just been another quiet scene with, after Akame basically finished her off, ultimately her there being quiet by herself. But the fact that Tatsumi was there was interesting to see the parallels this time of him being on the other side. Normally when somebody dies, it's always Tatsumi breaking down and him, you know, just being terribly destroyed, but the shoe was on the opposite foot now. And it's interesting to see as well when Akame was constantly like, don't you think I always want to cry? But to finally see her break down after killing her sister, it was a lot more impactful for the character. And overall, I felt it was done very nicely. I think this episode, again, this is steering away from the manga, but for what it did by itself, I think it was very good to great around there. I'm giving it, as far as like score goes, 8.5 to a 9. Akame's scene, hands down, my favorite part, when she broke down crying, like, finally to crack through that metal armor of hers to see the emotions. It was like so real and so good. I also noticed they improved the art for this episode as well. In the past few episodes, I think since they're going anime only, they're like, alright, fuck it, we gotta really step up the art quality, because this episode, a lot of the scenes actually look really good. And then the other bit at the end of the episode, setting up for next week's episode, I can totally see, I think, where this is going right now, because that fucking fat piece of shit minister is going to send the emperor out. First of all, he probably wants to become the emperor. It's like, how do you become the emperor? You get rid of the fucking emperor. So he's setting him into this Tegu, which looks honestly like some sort of Gundam or a Zaku or some shit like that. And probably next episode, they're going to kill this kid, and he's going to be like crying there or something. I never wanted this, he made me, or he's always been giving me suggestions, something like that. I can see something really tragic, like, you know, some kid that's kind of been forced into the situation and basically been manipulated to die at the hands of, like, the enemy. It'll be really fucked up. That's where I kind of see it going, because it's called Kill the Emperor next week. And overall, this episode, very good to a great again. Honestly, the stuff with Kurome and Akame was straightforward. This was a fight sister-sister. They went one-on-one. And again, you can argue Kurome wasn't at full power because of the Chelsea stuff, but ultimately that's what went down. I think the more important thing wasn't really who's going to win, who's stronger. It was just sisters kind of clashing with ideals in a sense of, or not really ideals, but methods, and which method was right, and ultimately Akame took her out. But let me know what you thought of this episode. First of all, what do you think about Akame versus Kurome? Do you think that this is foreshadowing for the manga? I kind of hope not. I kind of hope it's a little bit different, to be honest with you. And also, I think the manga will do the ending of that fight a lot more violent. But I could definitely see the mangaka, again, giving them a rough idea of how this is supposed to go down, and it just hasn't happened yet in the manga. And how did you feel about the scene with Akame finally breaking down at the end with Tatsumi, and Tatsumi having to be the brave one this time and say, you know, it's all right? Did that scene give you them feels? Hey, what thoughts of this episode? In all honesty, I felt it was a very good to a great 8.5 to a 9. I'll let you guys decide. I'm kind of leaning more towards the 9 simply because I thought it was pretty awesome and really hit. And how do you think next week's going to go down? But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.